Hello again. We're looking more at this Raspberry Pi simulation, and where I left it last, we had booted up to a special control environment, a simple shell where we could uh, not do very much. And after that recording, we went back to this tutorial and followed the next few steps where we edited the this special file here, which sets up one of the, well, basically hides one of the dynamic libraries.
I'm back.
Skip step 5. Hi. Just for the sake of the recording, I was just showing that we run this command here, and we've booted up a new screen. This takes a lot longer to boot up, and it's come to this menu here.
Oh, look at that.
I'm going to have a bit of a read of this. Having skipped this step 5, I guess the boot up is not quite the same because we don't have the dismounted, but we've got a lot of things. We don't have a camera to add. Certainly don't want to mess with overclocking, although overclocking on a simulator is probably entirely harmless.
Yeah, not to mention probably entirely useless.
Yeah, and I could internationalize my keyboard here. That might not be a bad thing to do.
Probably not. Because most likely it's set up to ENUS. So you might want to change the locale to matches your keyboard.
Yeah, but actually this menu option seems to have crashed.
Oh no.
Yeah, I had to drop out of that. Don't know. Right.
Pardon me for a minute, David. My cat is climbing on my Christmas village. I built a fiberglass mountain for our Christmas village, and the cat seems to be wanting to be a mountaineer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see why. There's a big looks like a crane flying around one of the lights, and he's trying to climb the mountain to get to it. Silly cat.
Now I have to look to see what kind of graphical environment is here. They have got in there automatically.
You know, it's a shame. I can't spread this out any further because my system has 4 different screens, and it's kind of strange for me to see everything on one screen.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing on one screen now.
Yeah, I see that. All black.
It's all black, and I don't know if it's actually... Oh, I've lost control of the mouse. What have I done? Shouldn't have done that.
Uh-oh.
I have the emulator has taken control of my keyboard. I don't know how to get it back. Yeah, I can't get back to my desktop at all. I'll have to kill it somehow. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I did kill it. That was I think it was a Control W or an Alt W that killed it in the end. So we boot it all over again with this. I'm tempted to go and fix the disk because they said it was optional, but yeah, we actually ended up in kind of an odd environment where not everything was running.
Yeah, it sounds to me like it's kind of doing things in a minimalistic mode because of the fact that it doesn't have any external storage, or you know.
But it has kind of a simulated external disk, but this SD card is simulated, I hope. But yeah, I don't think you can find it. So if we do exactly what it said here, can you copy? I'm sure that the search engines can find it quicker than I can read the manual. Oh, the wiki page. Oh, there is a suggestion for a new feature. If that's the first thing that's coming up in the search engine, maybe it doesn't support it at all.
And just at a quick glance, I would say probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame because that's an awful lot of stuff to type. I mean, it's not bad, you know. It's not like
I'm not a terrible typist. I mean, I'm not 100 words per minute typist by a long way, but I can quicker than I can think. It says more about my thinking than my typing.
I keep wanting to move stuff around.
Around my desk.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get used to that when I was watching somebody else's desktop. But yeah, there's nothing you can do.
Now it says here that you're supposed to put a commented line in the first line of #/US user /lib/arm-linux dot whatever.
Yeah, that's a different file. That's etc. ld.so.preload. Here I'm editing this file here, 90.rules, which didn't exist. Now I think there's kind of a copy paste inside of this, but actually I don't know the keystrokes to do it. There's a cut text, so if I do Control K, hopefully there's a right. Uncut text. Yeah, I can just do that. So then I've got a template. PLK 0p. Let me make this a bit bigger. 0p%n. And here it's I'm not sure if this will like a blank line in the end or not. Looks kind of all right.
Yeah, it looks fine to me. I'm double checking everything to make sure first.
Not sure if there should be a space after the first comma, but usually the next programs aren't too fussy about that. It does look like a space.
Yeah, it looks to me like there's a space there as well.
Okay, I'm going to save it. I'm changing the name. Right, and exit out. Yeah. So instead of shut down, I just Control D to get out of there. Shut down did nothing. And let's try this full boot command. And I suspect this time it'll take even longer because if it finds its disk image, it will be able to grab a lot more software from it than just the kernel and kernel modules. So while that's booting, yeah. So what kind of telescopes do you have?
I've got an 8-inch Newtonian reflector. I'm looking into getting a either an 8 or a 12-inch Dobsonian, but that's a little bit high on the budget list. So it's gonna be a while before I can afford to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like I
I've
said,
seen
you know
that
what?
people that are good in the shop are actually build. There's plans online for people that build around Dobsonians, but of course you still have to buy the optics
Right.
unless you can
Of course,
grind them. I mean, it's still
it's
a whole big challenge.
yeah, no, that's beyond my skill sets. I was in a
Yeah,
motorcycle accident a couple of years ago, and it left me partially disabled. So, a lot of the stuff that maybe I would have been able to do, say, 3 years ago, there's no way I can do now. And part
yeah.
of that is grinding and polishing new lenses.
Mhm.
But the optics for, say, a 12-inch Dobsonian is basically a quarter of the cost of buying, the entire thing. And if I make it a truss assembly type of thing rather than a tube assembly, that itself is also a lot less expensive. So rather than looking at $12,000 or $13,000 for a telescope, I could be looking at 5 or 6.
Ah, wow. Yeah, still a big investment.
Very big investment. The one telescope plus all my accessories and so on, I've got right around $3,000 into, and it's right now it's actually above my um, experience level, so to speak. Um, so it's every time I pull it out, it's a learning experience.
Hmm.
But this last time I had it out for the star party, I actually set it up out at my friend's house after the star party,
Mhm.
and was able to get some cheesy images of like the Ring Nebula and Lyra and the Andromeda Galaxy. So I'm getting
They say
there.
that a
Like
lot
I
of
said,
people that yeah, they say that a lot of people that go to star parties are quite good at helping other astronomers get used to their equipment and uh, figure
and
things
if
out.
if we if we'd had good weather, that would have been great. And
Mm,
certainly I would have gotten a lot of. But I mean, the first night it
yeah.
it rained. We probably got 2 inches of rain
Hmm.
overnight the first night, and you know, in fact, I woke up. My tent got flooded,
Oh man. Oh dear.
so I woke up soaked to the skin.
Uh-huh.
But
So you could talk about stars, but you couldn't photograph very much, yeah, or even look
yeah,
at very much. Yeah. You could look at each other's equipment and imagine what it could do.
yeah, I
Yeah.
saw um, a couple of people had binocular
Hmm.
Dobsonian telescopes, and I was seriously jealous because um, they just looked like amazing pieces of equipment to use. There
Hmm.
was a couple of people there that had like 25 and 28-inch Dobsonian telescopes that were like 8 foot tall. Anytime you go to use something like that,
How did
unless
you
you're
get them there?
yeah, unless you're looking at
Isn't
something
that
that's
the
right
kind
on
of
the
thing you build
horizon.
an observatory for? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pardon? Yeah. You say it's got to be on the horizon, otherwise you can't lift it.
Otherwise, you can't look at it unless you use a ladder. And with my
Ah, yeah.
disability, I can't use a
Oh,
ladder, so I would have to rig up something like a small
yeah.
lift or
There's some things that are yeah. There's some things that are easier to make accessible than others in life, aren't there?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got to this same menu that we had before. Um, I guess I'll not try and mess with the keyboard this time. I will just tab down to where it says finished and hit enter and see what happens. Um, the search engine doesn't know anything about binocular Dobsonians. It's just talking about stores that sell binoculars and telescopes. And it's this giant binoculars. Now, this is what we're talking about. I think it's so it's an optical or rather what do you call it? What's the name for a telescope that uses lenses rather than mirrors? Anyway, it's a lens telescope mounted on a Dobsonian kind of mount. Wow, look, is this the kind of thing that you saw?
Hang on, I'm trying to. I found a picture on Google Images. Now I'm just trying to find the picture on the website itself
Mm-hmm.
that it was pointing at. Oh, there it is. Okay, back in the Hangouts, and where is my little chat bar?
All right, if you yeah, the little blue button in the top left is the chat. Is the chat. That one there.
It's not a supported source. That's not what I want.
Oh, you know what? It booted up, and I've got a console login at my ordinary terminal. Don't know the username for that. And in Quemu, which is this rather elegant Gannett, I think it is, and another console login here. Probably ought to find out what StartX does, but if it gives me another blank screen that I can't get out of, that'll be.
Maybe I should paste this link into yeah,
Into Slack.
into Slack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good. Yeah, just I don't know. Text chat is fine, and Slack doesn't appear to make many improvements on text chat, but yet I find it much easier to use and much less hassle.
Yeah, I tried typing it into
really know
the
why.
Google Hangout tool. That's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
I tried typing it into the place where it says add sources, and it gave me an error message. And I tried clicking on, the various different things, and it's not
Oh,
giving me
look!
any.
A huge raspberry has just appeared.
I see that. That's a long way towards a graphical user interface. Granted,
Yeah,
it's not X window. Hey, you got icons.
This is X Windows. Yeah. I am going to go take the risk and go. Well, I'll not go full screen. I'll just go. Oh, I've hidden it. What have I done? Yeah, I'll just go. I won't maximize it. I'll just drag it up to most of the. Yeah, I'll just go there and see how big I can get it.
Looks to me like the screen size is not matching the window size.
No, I'm just kind of stuck with the square, but yeah. Okay, I'll fire up a terminal, something simple, and see what happens. I see it's receiving mouse clicks from me. That may be the issue. That maybe the mouse emulation is not working right. Nothing much going on with the mouse.
Yeah, it's not working with my mouse either. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah, there's a mouse pointer there that's not following my right in the middle where it says OCR resources. It's not following my laptop mouse. So.
Yeah, it sounds to me like mouse integration is not working. Now you've got several icons down across the bottom. I don't know if that's part of the Raspberry Pi window. It looks like it is because the screenshot
in the look like it. Yeah, screenshot has the screenshot is showing like a desktop, like a docked icon for the terminal. So yeah, and it's showing a time there, which I guess I wouldn't be getting on there, just from the emulator. And yeah, they don't click.
What about the ones on the right-hand side where it's got the clock, and then there's a little, what looks like a locked monitor, and then power button on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Those are all. Yeah, it sucks. So yeah, something with mouse integration is just not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I found the chat window. I was actually on the Hangouts toolbox. If I go up on the left-hand side, the navigation menu. The first one is chat. When I clicked on that, now I can type that into the chat window.
That's great. Let's see. Right. Now this is about KVM and not. They're closely related. I think one actually uses the other in some way. The mouse is grabbed. How can I get the mouse not to do that? Or mouse doesn't show up in the guests. Try to run QEMU with -USB device. And that might be my problem, is I don't have a real mouse, but it's supposed to be. I'll go get a real mouse. It's plugged. There's a mouse plugged into this other computer over here. I'm sorry about that noise. The headset fell off.
It happens.
Um,
Of course, this means you probably have to restart it again.
It probably does.
What I would suggest is you can set up a script fairly simply to start this up, can't you?
Oh yes.
That way you don't have to go copy and paste it all the time.
Yeah. So right, yeah, probably needs a restart. Right, so yeah, the real mouse is connected and working, but it's not making any difference. So that's talking about restart with that. And oh, where was this? Export. Now I don't know if that goes in the. If that goes in the guest or in the host. Bit vague.
Yeah, it is. But then again, there's a link down below it that you might be able to. Oh, not found. Lovely.
All right. So I guess I can restart the. Come on, move. Right. So if I can log in here. Right, find out the default password. Res PM default password. See this.
There is no root password.
Do that. Yeah. That's Ubuntu have been doing that for many years, and there's a lot of tutorials telling people to put root accounts and root passwords in, but I find I haven't needed it ever, because sudo always does the job. Defaults. Right. Yeah, they've got don't do this. Yeah, no, that's. So how do you just get in when you first get in? I think I'm going to have to restart the whole thing. Yeah, I can't even send a shutdown command from here. There probably is a way to send a shutdown command, but maybe if I just send a reset. Yeah, the whole thing has died. We'll make a script to do this, but I suspect this is slightly wrong.
I wonder if VirtualBox will. That's the virtual machine program that I usually use. I wonder if it will run um, Raspberry Pi.
I suspect it will only runs other x86 or
Well, see now I
x86
can
type
I can
systems.
configure VirtualBox to use
Mhm.
A wide array of different processors, some of which I think appeared on that list that you had up earlier.
Oh, I had no idea. Right. Let's see. Is let's make this script. Start pi.
In fact, I'll even look it
Is that
up
that?
for the Raspbian version. How to run Raspbian
Right.
on VirtualBox.
Yeah. Right. So that's saved there. Right. There's script to do that. Where was I? So yeah, we're still looking for how to go back to that other FAQ that we had open there. Oh, there's another binocular Dobsonian. Oh, goodness, that must have taken years in numerous workshops to build. That's wow. It says it's portable.
Well, yeah, any telescope is portable if you've got a large enough transporter.
Yeah. So you have to stand up there and look through the eyepiece then. Yeah.
Yes.
No, terribly practical. So the Newtonian works a lot better that way. But wow, yeah, that's just mind-boggling. So that's got to be, if the telescope you were looking at was £12,000, that's got to be £100,000 of worth of telescope up.
Actually, for this one right here, that's on your screen, that's probably about $15,000 to $16,000 if you buy it like that.
Mm-hmm. Buy it ready-made, and do these kind of things they have? This seems a very complicated mount. Is that some kind of tracking mount?
Yes, it's not a computerized like go-to mount like what my telescope is, but it does have some technology in there too, based on what your initial setup and alignment is. It can tell you what you're pointing at.
Mm.
The Dobsonian telescopes, like that one that you were just looking at, are basically used for observation as opposed to photography, because they don't have any motorized controls that move the telescope with the rotation of the Earth. So if you try to take photographs of any longer than, say, 5 to 10 seconds, you start getting trails. Light trails that are because of the Earth's movement. And while I do like observing, I much prefer to take pictures so that I can share them with other people. Well, once I get to a certain proficiency level.
Yeah.
I'm just not quite there yet. My voice is starting to deteriorate rather rapidly here, so I'm probably going to stop talking here very soon.
All right. Yeah. You can listen to me rabbit on about this thing. I have just rather blindly put in that suggestion of extra options to the when you start command, just to see if we get anywhere. I guess the other thing that I don't know if it's happened is that if that image has been, well, it has been changed because I've saved new stuff on it. No, I don't. This will change it anymore. So that's loading right now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, so far so good.
So while that's loading, I will. Right, now let's try.
Does take a while to load, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's making my computer quite slow as well.
Wow.
It's for. I've got, I don't know, 2 cores in this, and it's making 1 core run at 100% anyway. Assuming that's 1 core. I will run top and just see what in detail what's going on. Are these 2 different? Come on, make up. Why is my screen showing oddly like that?
That's a good question.
It's just redrew eventually, I think, correctly. But CPU, I've got this thing using 85%. I'm guessing that this little tool is getting its CPU information from somewhere different, but it's running 80%, which I think is 80% of what, I don't know if it's 80% of 1 core or if it goes up to 200% when you're running both cores. I guess it must be of 1 core because you've got 39% of one and 91 of another, so it adds up to more than 200, more than 100.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with Macs, so.
This isn't a Mac. This is a PC.
Oh, okay.
Linux.
I don't know why I thought you were running a Mac.
Hmm?
I have no idea why.
No, I had no reason to tell you. I just told you it was a Fedora machine, or at least I think I did. That's all. Had a Mac for a long time, and it kind of has got uneconomical to repair at the moment. It's sitting beside me, but it's also quite slow compared to this new PC. So, so what is Raspbian doing now? Yeah, it's taking a long time to set up, and it's the mostly processor limited by the look of it. But I have read that it is slow to run an emulation compared to actually having a Raspberry Pi, which even though it's not a high-powered system, it's supposed to be fairly quick.
I noticed that the local file system apparently had a problem. It says something about device dev mmcb yada yada does not exist.
So that probably goes back to our problem here. It may be that this thing is out of mmcp. Well, that says P. Oh yes, so it's trying to mount SDA1, so presumably this thing gets substituted.
Right.
The query gets substituted by a 1, and it doesn't find it. which makes me think that this time I've got to a login rather than that configuration screen that drops you into a boot. So, see what this search was doing here. To log into your Raspberry Pi remotely, you need, that's probably exactly the kind of thing that we're looking for. This will be on Raspbian. Step 1, give it an IP address. That's alright, but install SSH. Right, don't need any of those. Install SSH on your Windows machine. Use Windows as your main desktop.
Yeah, Windows 7.
I tried on the virtual. Yeah.
I've got Windows 8 and Windows XP Pro on virtual machines.
Mm-hmm.
I've got like 9 different virtual machines that I could run at any given time. They don't run unless I need them, but what I use them for is to test websites that I'm working on in various different operating systems for these weird problems where the operating system or the server software makes a difference. Pardon me.
I am going to look at this file here. That might tell me something about what went wrong with the mouse. Right, well that's the mouse that we thought it had found. Configure the mouse.
Adding scroll wheel support. Don't see any errors there.
No, configuring the mouse. I guess I'm just a bit disappointed that it is saying it's a PS2 mouse.
No input driver specified. Ignoring this device.
Okay. Well, I do see that in my Fedora machine as well, and the mouse still works. So. So
that's not it.
That doesn't prove to. Yeah, that's not the log for the mouse that it thinks it's got. If you want to boot the GUI, you need a slightly different method. We go through this here. Oh, RDP. Possibly that's not it. I'm just going to search for StarX Raspberry Pi. This is ridiculous. Today it boots, but when I told StarX, the screen goes blank.
Doesn't sound like it applies to your problem.
All the wrong stuff. It might just tell me where the config file is to start it. Someone's having a bad temper. Got the internet working. Are you sure you type StartX, right? So you just type StartX. You don't set any. Yeah, it doesn't look like the same problem at all. So well, it's kind of reassuring that the command to start it is just StartX. We're back to yeah. How did you get on with if you find it? You're not going to do much talking, but if you find anything on VirtualBox, I'd be interested to see it.
Yeah, I just looked through it, and apparently Raspbian, which is what I assume you're using here.
Yes.
Several of the forums that I visited talking about it said that that particular one can't be run on VirtualBox. You have to use QEMU or some other emulator.
You need to set the tablet device, that's true, but you also need to configure xor.conf for the tablet device. How do I do this? Oh, you need to install extra stuff. So I might be the problem we don't have the EV Touch. Explain why this happens. Well, I think he did explain why it happens.
That was clear back in 2009.
Yeah, this is well before. Yeah, well before the Raspberry Pi. I very much doubt I've got locate in here because that would take up a lot of space. But
Yeah.
I may just.
A lot of stuff popped
stuff?
up, but that last line doesn't look promising.
No, there's no EV Touch, so it may mean that I don't have any mouse. This chap that wrote the previous, this person that wrote this, just he got into it and was able to start up his terminal. Unless he's just pinched a screenshot from somebody else. But I can't see who someone would have gone to the trouble of writing up a blog post that didn't actually work. So I'm guessing he's just forgotten something, or something has changed in Raspbian or QEMU since he wrote this.
Very well could be.
Okay, you should see a few steps failing while the image boots. That's normal. Double check that all the important steps are fine, but that's easier said than done if we don't know what the important steps are. That zoomed past a bit quick. Right in the pager. I still zooming, trying to scan this really quickly. Right.
Unknown interrupts ignored.
Yeah, this is kind of thing that I've not seen. But a direct access to some kind of hard disk, some kind of CD-ROM. Right, these are these disks that Zelda could find.
Now, do they actually point to something on your drive that exists? Is it possible that you might have to actually mount those particular folders or create those particular folders on your system in order for it to be mounted in the emulator?
Right, I've got P1. You know, it said P1 didn't mount. It seems to have mounted P1 and P2. Hold on a second. Sorry, distracted there a bit, but MMC. So those things kind of look alright. I've even got this prop file system, so I assume I can run the free command now. Yeah, I can see the 255 megs of memory. I seem to have a swap partition as well, although it's not mentioned here.
It does say a swap file is not a swap partition, so no using swap on or off from here on. Use dfizz swap file.
Oh, okay. So there's a swap file on the swap file in the main file system somewhere.
Yeah.
By the sound of that. Yeah. So I mean, if I do cd, I've got a regular looking Linux file system. So I guess I should
I'm sitting here
Yeah.
trying to move my mouse out of the way, and then I realize it's not my mouse that's in the way.
It's in the way of the run. Yeah. Nano. Um, where would the xorg.conf be, etc. 11. Um, it
What is it that you're looking for?
want to find the xorg.conf file, which is the one that would configure the mouse, hopefully.
And locate's not installed on this.
But it may be that just no locate's not installed, and it may be that EV Touch driver is what we really need. But it's probably not got network either. Oh, seem to have network. Oh, can resolve a name, but it's not getting. That's odd.
It should have resolved something by now.
Yeah, it has resolved something there because it's got a IP address to ping to, but yet it hasn't got anything back. So maybe if I do at what's the command for search for looking for packages?
I don't know.
Search, something like that.
Apt space double dash help. That should give you all the commands.
Yeah. They're all separate, I think.
I wonder if the command is ifconfig.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That's while it's searching. ifconfig. Yeah, it's configured. It's got an IP address, which presumably Quemu has given it.
It's got an IP address of 10.02.15.
Yeah.
Is that what your local Ethernet is?
No, not at all. I assume that it's got some kind of. Well, that worked. That came back with nothing.
Yeah, most of the time you would see 192.168 either 0 something or 1 something, or in rare cases 2 something. But 10.02.15 is valid for a local Ethernet, but it's valid for a local Ethernet of thousands of nodes. It's not your usual, local network. That's all covered under 192.168.
Yeah, I can't figure out what it is. But my VirtualBox machines, when they come up, they're in a 10 dot network as well, and they seem to work.
Yeah, mine are not, and the reason is because I manually set them to be on the same network as my computer is, so that if I'm, say, working on my laptop outside while I'm having a cigarette, I can access my virtual host servers. I'll tell you what. Setting up my VirtualBox network. All of the web servers have a document root that resides on the main box itself, and that was a major challenge to get to work on every single, not only all my Linux virtual machines, but my Windows virtual machines. They all point to exactly the same document root, so that if I make a change in one file, I don't have to copy it over to 9 different virtual machines in order to see what the changes are.
Oh, that's great. Um, yeah, that does sound like a major challenge.
But
Uh,
yeah,
what kind of system are those hosted on then? All the files.
it's um, Windows shares. Since the root OS is Windows 7, it's all set up
Mm.
on Windows shares. But
Yes.
they're set up with very specific permissions, so that if it's not one of my virtual machines trying to access it through the network, um, access is denied.
Mm. Oh, that's really good.
All the virtual machines have exactly the same username and password, so that makes it a lot easier. But there's also a firewall with port forwarding set up to allow only specific IP addresses to access file system on my machine. It took me probably about 6 weeks to get everything set up, and I have no idea how many hours, probably a couple of hundred, to get everything all set up. But now that it's all set up, it's so easy to make changes and see it propagate everywhere where it's supposed to.
I used a shared disk, a cloud shared disk at Amazon called Jungle Disk.
Okay.
But that's all right. That's all right for small files. I don't have big files of photographs or anything on that, so it's
Yeah, if you've got a
that's good.
decent internet connection, and you're only accessing small files, the cloud's the way to go, because you can access it literally from everywhere, um, and you don't have to worry, about um, file access problems, or say your hard drive goes down on your computer or your laptop or whatever.
Hmm.
You don't have to worry about losing it. Cloud storage is great, but you have to have really good bandwidth, um,
Yeah.
and not everybody has really good bandwidth. Although I've got a couple of friends that I um, work with that live in England, and I am so jealous of their bandwidth. I mean, I've got pretty decent, it's 30 megabits
Mm.
download and like 3.5 megabits upload, which for the United States, that's pretty decent. They're pushing almost 100 megabits both ways. It's like, wow.
Mm. Wow. So what part of the country, what part of England are they living in?
One of them lives in Brighton. In fact, a couple of
Oh
them
yeah.
live in Brighton, but one's um, I can't remember. I don't think it's BT that they're on, and I'm pretty sure it's not Virgin, but I can't remember exactly which one they're on. But they're all, a couple of them are on the same system, and the
Hmm.
other guy that's on the same system lives out in Norwich,
Hmm.
and so um, they both got very similar um, bandwidth. But I'm
Oh, good.
seriously
Well,
jealous because it's like almost 5 times what I can get here.
yeah. I thought maybe I would have to move to the city to get something like that, but we all like living in the country too much for that.
Yeah.
But
Like living in the country too, but unfortunately, right now it's not in the cards.
mm,
Uh, okay, I need to step away again for a minute, but I should be
yeah.
back in a couple.
See you in a few.
And I'm back. And I have a black screen. Well, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, I've broken something. Now, what did I change from last time I boot? I added that USB and USB tablet thing. I don't think I tried to. Right, couldn't open a module. Unable to run Xterm. Specify a program on the command line or which so bent it on the path. Well, let's find another command then. Well, I was trying to get some more into it. Now I found that this thing fdev is installed, and I guess I just didn't search for it correctly, because I just did this. Looked at xorg.0.log.
Okay, what is less? Oh, less is kind of like a pagination thing?
Yeah, it's a pager. Yeah.
Okay.
So it allows me to page up and down long files. Or log output. So this thing fdev, it says it can load this module fdev underscore driver. So it seemed to recognize it, and then it set up the keyboard to use fdev. It seems to have found a GB keyboard, which is kind of interesting. And then it set up a mouse. And then it's gone on to say, and lots of mouse setting up. Nothing seems to have gone wrong. Adding input extended device. Then it tries to set up a different mouse called PS2 generic Explorer mouse, and I'm assuming this is a different mouse, and then this one gets all set up. And then that one says no input driver specified, so I'm not sure if it's unloading both mices. Yes, it is. Is it unloaded everything? So let's see if this thing exists. User lib .xorg. Right. CD USR lib. Can't see them both at one time.
Yeah, that's a shame.
Haha, I'll soon sort that. Right. Xorg.
Modules. Input. I assume that you're looking for. Well, now evdev is showing that it's loaded.
Yeah, it does show it's loaded. File evdev. So when it says it can't find a driver, it's obviously not that file that it can't find.
One thing that I am seeing is could not load software renderer, no usable GL provided or providers found for screen 0.
Oh, well, so that means we won't get 3D acceleration or any kind of 3D, I suppose.
I do see something that says error DL open of user lib ARM Linux and a whole bunch of other stuff failed. Cannot open shared object file, no such file or directory.
Well, let's have a look at that. I wish I could copy paste that.
I think that has to do with the GL providers not found.
Oh yes, it does, because it's running. This GL module that's running, so it kind of makes sense. No 3D acceleration there. Lots of acceleration not loaded, but it looks like well, it does load the screen, so we get a screen loaded. So we're just worried about this mouse, and we may be stuck for a while. Sam is about to launch a. He's already launched a Hangout for a scrum. So I'm going to hang up, let you get some sleep. I'll go and see Sam's scrum.
Okay. Yeah, tell him I said hello, please.
All right, okay. I will do. Yeah. And
Thanks for the hangout, David. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, thank you for coming in. It was a lot. Talking to myself would have been quite a different experience.
Yeah, as long as you don't answer yourself, we're okay.